We're talking today about how to deal with sexual rejection inside of a long term monogamous relationship. And I think this is a really important topic because there's a lot of conversation around, well, how to get rejected in the dating world. But there's not a lot that's being said around what happens when we're in long term relationships and we're getting turned down repeatedly, how to deal with that, right? How to deal if you're coming on to your spouse, to your partner, to somebody that used to respond to you and now they don't. So, when somebody is coming on to somebody else in a long term relationship, it's very common that the partner that is less interested will either respond in a kind of supportive way, like a accepting way, or a deflecting way. And this has been seen in research and studies. I will link in the show notes a study for you on this. But what we see is that there can be like this reassuring way that people will get rejected. So this would mean if you're coming on to your partner and your partner's not interested in it at that moment, she or he might say to you something like, "Oh, honey, I'm so busy right now, but I'm real excited about that for later," right? Something like that. That's like reassuring, like I'm here, I love you, I'm appreciating to come on, I'm interested. Something that's still conveying that interest. The deflecting kind of scenario that can occur in these situations is when you come on to your partner and she or he just laughs it off, dismisses it, or even says something hostile is even worse. That any of that has been really shown to impact the relationship negatively. So there's going to be some level, likely at some point in the relationship, this type of dynamic happening, because at some point in the relationship somebody's desire is going to be bigger than somebody else's. That is just basically going to be true almost 100% across the board, if you're with somebody long enough, right? And I never say 100% because, of course, like really almost nothing in life is 100%. But that being said, when it comes to this topic of this is happening a lot, right? This is happening to people because of this desire disparity at some point in the relationship. We need to understand on both sides of the table how to handle this, because what we see is that when people are rejected inside of their relationship, every time they're rejected, it leads to a feeling, and this is what surveys have shown and research has shown, is that it leads to a feeling of being less satisfied sexually and less satisfied in the relationship. And that feeling lasts about a couple days. So, let's say somebody tries to come on to their partner every couple days. And then what winds up happening is if they're getting rejected, then it can continually leave this, this like dissatisfying feeling in the relationship and in the sex life, which isn't going to be very good for the relationship. But what is interesting in studies that have looked at this is that if somebody rejects somebody, the partner, from a reassuring standpoint, and remember that reassuring standpoint is much more example one, where it's like, honey, I am so excited about that. I'm hot for you too. I just don't have time right now. That will actually not negatively impact the relationship satisfaction. Of course, there's exceptions, right? But this is just what we've seen in studies that have looked at larger groups of people. So to me, when I see information like that, I think it's really important then for couples to understand, like, it is, it's like it can be appropriate to say, I'm not in the mood, I have a bazillion things going on, all these things, but the way we say it matters. So whatever side of the coin you're on with this, if you're on the side where you're listening and you're like, yeah, I'm the one that's always coming on and getting rejected, this is an opportunity to educate your partner about how they can reject you in those moments that is much more appreciative, much more is affirming, and isn't so deflective or isn't passive aggressive and ignoring. Now, of course, this is going to come with a lot of the assurance in somebody is saying, with verbally saying, like, I'm still hot for you, just don't have time right now, let's prioritize this later. So if we're saying that, then we do need to follow through and make sure we are prioritizing it at some point. Otherwise, of course, this builds up over time and trust gets broken, because as much as we can say everything with our words, what really shows up is our actions. So while in the short term, having those positive deflections can, or those positive affirmations, I should say, can help to preserve the relationship and the sexual satisfaction, that we do need to follow through on that. Otherwise, we are probably going to be at a point where we are still going to be finding ourselves very dissatisfied in the relationship, because now the trust has been broken and somebody's been saying, yeah, we'll attend to this later, I know it's important, and it's not being prioritized. And if that is happening, go listen to one of my last couple of videos where I talked about how scheduling sex can be just as hot as non-scheduled spontaneous sex. And I talk in that video about the research that shows what to change, what to do to make sex and make planning sex just as hot as spontaneous sex. There's actually a shift you can make, a very, very clear shift you can make that will allow that to occur in your brain. So definitely go watch that video if you have not. Please join my Libido Club if you want support on this, on anything in the conversation, hotter sex, better relationship world. You can find that at my Libido Club in the show notes. And I hope you will download Revive Your Love Life, 5 Easy Steps for Mind-Blowing Orgasms and Romance. Free book for y'all that you'll find in the show notes as well. I'm Dr. Diane, wishing you the best of love, romance, and great sex. See you all soon.